I wouldn't have never thought in a million years that people would be taking many shots over this non-black woman. Apparently this past weekend, Janet Jackson was interviewed by the Guardian magazine. During the interview, Janet was discussing her brother Michael and of course her brother Tito, who she just lost recently. In the interview, she also talked about motherhood and taking back control. Well, this woman here is the one who interviewed her, and as I was reading the article, and I will be sure to put in the description box below, she wondered where Janet Jackson stood about the forthcoming election. And she set her up by saying, after all, I say America could be on the verge of voting in its first black female president, Kamala Harris. Janet said, and I quote, "Well, you know what they supposedly said. She's not black. That's what I heard, that she's Indian." The reporter said, "Well, she's both." Janet Jackson said her father's white. "That's what I was told. I haven't watched the news in a few days." She went on to say, "I was told they discovered her father was white." But before I get into this video, take a moment to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and don't forget to click the notification bell.
So let's get off into it. Pop icon Janet Jackson is retracting her controversial comments about VP Kamala Harris's race. Now, the singer allegedly released a statement through her manager recently acknowledging that she meant when claiming that the presidential nominee isn't black, and shared her remorse about the remark. After commenting that Janet Jackson's statements were based on disinformation, the attorney wrote, she deeply respects Vice President Kamala Harris and her accomplishments as a black and Indian woman. Janet apologizes for any confusion caused and acknowledges the importance of accurate representation in public discourse. They added, "We appreciate the opportunity to address this and will remain committed to promoting unity." Janet came under fire earlier this week, y'all, over incorrect remarks she made about Kamala Harris's heritage. During an interview, the Together Again song, she claimed that she heard the politician wasn't actually black and that her father was a white man.
Lord.
The interviewer immediately corrected Jackson, informing her that Harris's father is actually of Jamaican descent. And just now, TMZ is reporting that Janet is not taking those comments back, and her brother Randy is the only one who can speak on her behalf.
Huh?
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But she's not taking the comments back?
She is not taking those comments back, and her brother Randy is the only one who can speak on her behalf.
See, this is why many people are being led astray now by false information. If you are going to read an article, at least check its accuracy. So she done read this article, and the article wasn't even accurate. Janet Jackson never retracted what she said. The apology stated clearly came from a Kamala supporter. And because the person lied, Janet had that person fired.
They need to let Marlon speak, because he went out here singing all Michael Jackson songs in concert.
I
just text your phone.
I saw that.
Somebody said Joe owe him another whooping.
Why he doing that, y'all?
I don't know, Brad. They need to stop. It don't sound right.
And he's trying to move like him and everything.
Oh, Lord.
Let the nephew lead the song and you sing background. You can still be a Jackson, but you don't need to be leading the song, Marlon.
Marlon was always terrible. Now
You said he's 70?
He's terrible. He's 70. They're in their 70s.
Damn.
My God.
whole thing.
Yeah, but I mean, we would. Yeah. I'm just gonna say it. If I was Janet,
right,
I would be on the campaign trail supporting Kamala Harris. If I was Janet, I ain't telling you who to vote for out there listening, but you know what I'm saying.
People need to read the room.
Somebody gave her the wrong information, I guess.
Even if she had that ain't like Special K just said, read the room, man, or just don't say nothing, because you know what I'm saying, most of your fan base is supporting Harris.
Exactly. Did she not watch the news?
Yeah, I ain't never seen no Trump supporters show up at a Janet Jackson concert singing Control.
I think she hadn't watched the news lately or something.
Yeah.
Past few days she hadn't watched the news. I don't know.
But just because most of her fan base supports Kamala doesn't mean she should campaign for her. Janet Jackson is an entertainer. Unlike artists like Meg Thee Stallion, she knows her place. She didn't even care to talk about the election. She even told the reporter that it was mayhem regardless of who won the election. But see, the way they put this news out, they're making it seem like, oh, she just started talking on Kamala. No, the reporter asked her the question first. And as far as the news is concerned, because they kept saying she didn't watch the news, but the last time that I checked, the news already told us that she's Indian. She was acknowledged as the first Indian president, not black.
I stand before you as the first candidate for Vice President of the United States of South Asian descent.
Our dear friend will be the first Indian American Vice President in the history of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
As many of you know, generations of my family come from India. My mother was born and raised in India, and I have family members who live in India today.
Asian Americans are the fastest growing population here in North Carolina, and among that, Indian Americans are driving a lot of that growth right here in the Triangle, drawn to the tech, science, and medical fields. Now, some are hoping to see Kamala Harris make history as the first South Asian in the highest office in the country.
Senator Kamala Harris will be the first person of Indian heritage to be nominated for vice president on a major party ticket.
The first Indian American woman to be nominated as a vice presidential candidate in America.
And let's go on and address her father. People clearly don't know the difference between nationality and race. Jamaica is a country, not a race. Kamala's father, Donald J. Harris, is Irish and Indian. Now, I didn't know an Indian man and an Indian woman can conceive a black child. But see, they use Jamaican to confuse people. They speak on his nationality, not his race. Just because you are born in Jamaica doesn't qualify you to be black. There are many different ethnicities in Jamaica. Just like all Jamaicans are not black or descendants of Africa. I think the major thing about this is understand that it's not about race. It's just simply about the truth. If I walked around claiming to be Latina or Mexican, people would look at me like I'm crazy. But here you have Kamala lying through her teeth to tickle the ears of black people, and no one questioned her on that. But let a white woman do what she's doing. Baby, her edges would be on the floor. And who remembers the Rachel woman? What was it? Rachel Docile? The black community was tearing her into shreds because she was born a Caucasian woman and she lied about being black American. But Kamala gets a pass. She can pretend to be black one week, Indian the next week. Shoot, she was just Mexican last week.
Oh, it's good to see so many friends. I love you back.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. Let's just get through the next 64 days. How about that? Here's the thing. The courts are going to handle that. We're going to beat them in November.
I also can't forget to mention DL Hughley, who started taking shots at Janet after her interview. He said, and I quote, "Janet Jackson's interview sounded like a Trump rally. For your information, it's a little ironic to question whether someone is black while you're breathing through the nose of a white woman. Hashtag Team DL." In another tweet, he said, Kamala Harris looks the way she does because she has mom from India and dad from Jamaica. Janet Jackson looked the way she does because she has a plastic surgeon. But this is coming from the same man who didn't like Kamala at first. In fact, he said back in 2019, and I'm about to read it, Kamala Harris flames out. Black people didn't trust her, and they were wise not to. So my question would be, what changed, DL? When did you have a change of heart? When did you start deciding that you were going to support Kamala? And what type of man takes the time to put down a woman who you claimed back in 2019 also that Janet Jackson deserved appreciation? You said here, and I quote, Super Bowl Sunday is also known as Janet Jackson Appreciation Day. But I'm curious to what happened. Where is your appreciation now? Why are you attacking a true black woman over a non-black woman? But see, all in all, this just goes to show that there's an evil agenda to remove the truth. And I'm talking about so much to the degree where the truth no longer matters anymore. It no longer matters because this is coming from the same people who will argue that men can have babies. They should be able to compete in women's sports. A man can be a woman and vice versa. And that tampons need to be in a man's bathroom. And again, this is why I say it has very less to do with race, but much to do with the truth. That the truth is so offensive, we gonna dumb it down for stupid people. But Janet Jackson said what she said, and she stand 10 toes on what she said. And I stand with her for that.
So what we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Yeah.